Initially, I wanted everything to have a form of synchronicity, so I was going to do 21 books I wanted to read in 2021. But 2020 has kicked me in the nuts, in my non-existent nuts. I'm just like, you know what? Nah, I deserve good things. We all deserve good things. After the absolute catastrophe that has been this year, we deserve good things. So I am going to be sharing with you 25 books I am really anticipating reading in 2021, because I repeat, 2020 has done the most. The number one romance I'm looking forward to reading next year, Act Your Age, Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert. You all know I discovered The Magnificent of Talia Hibbert fairly recently, which is a shame because what the hell? What have I been doing with my life? But also, I discovered The Perfection, that is the Brown Sisters series, this year. So this year, I read both Get to Life, Chloe Brown, and Take a Hint, Danny Brown. And now, Act Your Age, Eve Brown is coming next year, and I'm so excited. You have Eve, she's the certified hot mess of her family. When it is that she ruins a very expensive wedding because my girl is all like, liberate those doves, let them go free. And I agree. I mean, like, doves should be allowed to fly free. Ideally, they should fly free after the wedding, you know, because that's the whole point of making such an expensive purchase, to create that spectacle. But my girl was like, let's get started early. Anyway, she rings the wedding. She's all like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Her parents are like, girl, you gotta get your act together. Act your fucking age, Eve. Act your fucking age. And she's like, how fucking dare you? So she leaves. She drives off, wanders into this town, runs into the most grumpiest of all grumpiest B&B owner who is looking for a new chef, and she's like, yo, cooking is one of my many interests that I've tried out. I think I can fairly cook for these people. And the guy looks at her and is like, no way in hell, you were a certified hot mess. I don't want to have anything to do with you. She's like, oh my God, how could you say that to me? I'm gonna go. And then she accidentally hits him with the car. Yeah. And then now he has a broken arm and he has no choice but to hire her, and she's just over there infiltrating every corner of his life. And can you all tell that I'm really excited about this book? Because I am giddy. He has enemies to lovers, opposites attract, a certified hot mess. It's written by Talia Hibbert. There's a Brown sister. Perfection achieved. Next up is Witches Steeped in Gold by Shannon Smart. That cover. That cover is giving me life. It's a Jamaican inspired fantasy, which we thank God, you know, every single time I find a new book that does not center the West, I'm like, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. It's a Jamaican inspired fantasy. I'm here for it. You have this girl, Uriah, who is, I think, basically a slave, right? And she's been in a cell and she's just been plotting her revenge. You have another girl, Jasmine, who is the daughter of the queen. Apparently, for the queen to acquire more power, she kills her children. Jasmine is like, yo, my sis might be dumb enough to die for your ass, but not me, you raggedy ass bitch. And so she teams up with Uriah. They are both bound by vengeance and they're like, we're going to take the shit apart. The question is just how far are they willing to go to take the shit apart? I repeat, Witches Steeped in Gold. A cover like that, a story like that. Absolute perfection. Next up on my list, you all know, nobody should be surprised that this book made the list. A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. We have already established on this channel that your girl is Sarah J. Maas trash. I'm going to have property of Sarah J. Maas branded on my ass, particularly my left cheek, because I think I want to be crowned. I want to like have a crown on my right cheek, but like my left cheek would definitely have property of Sarah J. Maas. Yes. Do I think that her writing can be very repetitive? Yes. Do I think that she has this love for snaring and growling and putting male and female and mate every other sentence? Yes. I've also read a lot of paranormal shifter romances where male female like mates are something that I have become desensitized to. Yes. But I repeat, her books are crack to me. They're like crack. I binge through them. I can't stop reading them. Like I said, I'm going to have property of Sarah J. Maas branded on my ass cheek. If you're a Sarah J. Maas 8 and you're all like, oh my God, Noria, I thought you were more intelligent than this. That is on you, boo-boo. I don't give a shit. But anyway, back to A Court of Silver Flames. It's my girl Nesta's story. Do I say my girl Nesta even though I want to wring her neck? Yes. Do I say my girl Nesta because a couple of months after I finished reading A Court of Frost and Starlight and I've reread the ACOTAR series, I realized that I still love Nesta. She's a hot ass mess. She's a horrible big sister, but I just I think the reason why I hate her so much is because she's so similar to me. Ugh, that stubborn ass bitch. But anyway, I'm interested, right? It's Nestor and Cassian's story. Cassian is my bae, Cassian is my love, and the two of them basically have to face their past because those fucking ass queens, those fucking treacherous backstabbing are not worth a dime. I hope they rot in hell, and I hope their death is long and drawn out and painful like the actor is. Queens, they're back, forming an alliance. I'm like, why can't you all just go and die? Anyway, yeah, they have to battle the queens. I'm not going to go into much detail because I don't want to spoil it, because it's the 4th book in a series and I don't want to spoil anything for you. So I'm just going to state there and keep it there and be like, I hope those dusty ass queens die a horrible, painful death. I hope their skin melts off their bones and their faces become a sloven mess, and I hope that they have bleeding sores all over every single crevice of their body.
You about to break yourself. Believe that. Bye, Felicia.
But also, Sarah, a court of silver flames? What happened to the ant? What happened to the ant? A court of silver flames?
The impudence! The audacity! The unmitigated gall!
Next up for me, The Unbroken by C.L. Clarke. Firstly, look at that cover. Look at her arms. Oh my god. We love us a woman with muscles in this house, especially a woman that can, like, you know, squeeze my neck and kill me. Yeah. Did I just reveal my kink to the internet? That is why you subscribe to my channel. You want to know my kinks. But anyway, The Unbroken by C.L. Clarke is one North African inspired. I'm like, every single time I get another story that is not centered around the West, I'm just like, thank God, hallelujah. It's not African inspired. You have a child soldier, actually no, a girl who has been raised as a child soldier. She's now of age and an adult, and basically she lives and dies and kills for the empire. And when she's sent back home to stop a rebellion, she runs into Luca, a princess, Luca who wants a fucking ass uncle off the throne, Luca who needs somebody, you know, to help broker peace with the rebels, Luca who is playing a lot of long con and a lot of courtly intrigue. And you have this scheming princess and you have this murdering soldier, and you have both of them conniving together to change their world and also falling in love. And I'm just like, they're gonna fuck and they're gonna kill.
Delicious. Finally. Some good fucking food.
Next is a book that should have released this year but was moved to next year, and I'm not complaining because 2020 has been that year, and I'm like, yo, this is something that has been helping me anticipate 2021, and that is The Gilded Ones by Namina Forna. Ooh, one, the cover. 2021 is the year of beautiful covers. Publishing stays winning. We stay collectively winning, and it just brings me joy. Anyway, The Gilded Ones by Namina Forna. You have my girl Decca, who lives in a society whereby the blood in which a woman bleeds or sheds, you know, defines her worth, and she's praying that she just has regular ass blood so that she can just live a regular ass life. But nope, when she's cut, she bleeds gold, and our townspeople automatically have this assumption about people that bleed gold. It is not very good. But anyway, in order to escape, she's offered this life to basically join this team of elite warriors that serve the king to fight a great evil. All of them, of course, having golden blood. And I'm just over here like, there are going to be a bunch of girls. They are going to be warrior girls. They are going to be kicking ass. There is a lot of gay, because I heard that there is gay in this, and I'm just like, I'm here for the gay. I'm here for the gay. I'm here for the killing. So the killing, the gay, like this is, I repeat, 2021 has books that just fills me with so much joy and makes me so unbelievably. The next book I'm looking forward to read is a graphic adaptation of an old existing book that I have not read yet. So I'm just like, this is just perfection. After the Rain by Nnedi Okorafor won that cover. That cover. Oh my god. Anyway, you all know I am absolute complete trash for Nnedi Okorafor. I love her work. I love her writing. It's African Jujuism. She writes African Jujuism, and it makes me very happy to see African, cultures and religions, everything just worked up into fantasy. It is mind-blowingly brilliant. And in After the Rain, you have a young woman, Chioma, who one day during a heavy, unexpected storm in a Nigerian town, yes, I said Nigerian, see another reason why I love Nedi. So in a unexpected storm, Nigerian town, she's like, there's a knock on the door. Who is it? She opens the door. There's this guy with a severe head wound, and she's like, what the fuck? And then the guy reaches for her, and when he touches her, she starts to burn, and she's like, what the fuck? And now she's both haunted and hunter, and I'm just over here, I'm like, ooh, what is it? Was it touching like an awakening of her powers? Was the touching like an infection? Is she gonna die? But knowing Lady Okorafor, she's not gonna die. She's just going to be this very powerful woman. And I'm here for it. Also that cover. So yeah, it's a graphic novel. And I cannot wait. The next book on my list is the second Nnedi Okorafor book. Remote Control by Nnedi Okorafor. One, I remember there was a time on this channel when I talked about characters and beings I love to see in my fantasy book, and one of those characters is here because see, we follow Sankofa, who is the adopted daughter of Death. Yes, you heard that right. Death is in this book. Death paid Sankofa a visit back when she was Fatima, and on the day she forgot her name, Death gave her a new name, Sankofa, and now she walks with Death. Our only companion is a fox. She can kill with a touch, she can level an entire town with a stare, and she's searching for something that dropped from the heavens. And all I'm here is like, you had me at Sankofa was adopted by Death.
Simple girl. I like simple things.
The next book I am looking forward to reading next year, is Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare. The second book in the Last Hour series is coming out next year. I'm not going to go into details, just know that someone is once again killing shadow hunters in London in the 19th century, and they have to figure out who it is, even though there is a high possibility that it might possibly be one of them, which at the point, like, all I'm just thinking is, Cassandra, this sounds very similar to what we got in City of Fallen Angels, with a certain possession of a certain main character. Cassandra, Cassie.
What's up with that?
The next anticipated book on my list is another Cassandra Clare book, The Volume of the Dead. Yes, it is the last book in the Eldest Courses series, which after the Dark Arts Fighting series is probably my favorite series because I'm a simple girl. It has Magnus Bane as a main character and Alec Lightwood, and I'm like, I'm here for it. So yeah, Magnus Bane. I will keep saying this on my channel that Magnus Bane is one of my favorite characters, and he saved my life, and is also the reason why I ended up getting hooked on Cassandra Clare's books, because if she had not written Magnus Bane, I would not have touched her books. So nor would I have continued reading them for more instances and opportunities to see Magnus Bane. Why am I talking about Magnus Bane instead of giving you a summary for this book? Because this book does not have a cover. This book does not have a cover. This book does not have a synopsis. All this book has is a release date of 2021, which has me very suspicious. I am sus because I'm like, Cassandra, are we actually going to get this book in 2021?
I got a question.
Next book on my list, Sorrowland by River Solomon. Yes, I know I have still not read any of their work. I intend to read it. I think 2021 will be the year when I finally read River Solomon. But the synopsis of Sorrowland has me very, very intrigued because you see, in this we follow Ven, right? Ven, who was raised in this highly religious, almost cult-like compound. Ven, who is 7 months pregnant and runs away from this commune place that she's been raised in and runs into the forest where she gives birth to twins. Ven, who is still haunted because the fucking pieces of shit who raised her just would not let her go. And when she releases this incredible brutality Carnage, she has to figure out exactly what she's metamorphosizing into, because clearly she's going into it through a metamorphosis, but also she also has to figure out her past, the history behind the commune she was raised in, and also what the future looks like outside the woods, because that is the only way she can protect her little family. I'm over here, I'm ready for it. It sounds like it's going to be very creepy and very otherworldly and very weird and atmospheric.
Ooh, this is my jam. This is my... Turn that song off. This is my jam.
Next up for me is Son of the Storm by Suyi Davis Okubowa. Firstly, the cover! I repeat. Oh my god, these 2021 covers be giving me life. Yo! Publishing has finally learned that you don't stop giving us dusty, trippy, stupid ass covers. Like when there's perfection like this to be had. In this we follow Danzo. Danzo lives in Baso, who is a disillusioned scholar living in this empire that, you know, that has established its dominance through might, and is just every day in, day out. My boy is bored. He's suffering, clearly suffering from a case of ennui. And when Lilong shows up at his barn, she's wounded. She's a skin changer, and she comes from the Nameless Islands. This Nameless Islands that Danzo was like, hold up, I thought they said that place does not exist. And she's like, yeah. They also said my magic doesn't exist. So, and it's like, fuck. Shit, this empire has been lying to me. I'm over here and I'm ready. I want them to topple the empire. I want them to reveal all its dirty, sordid secrets. I also want a lot of skin changing and also that cover. So yeah.
You the real MVP.
Next up, How to Find a Princess by Alyssa Cole. 2021 is the year of giving me so much gay, because this is a queer Anastasia retelling. You heard that right. This is a queer Anastasia retelling, and I'm just over here like, See, when Alyssa Cole gave me gay in One Ghosted Twice Shy, I was like, ooh. She gave me romance, she gave me steam, and she gave me everything in the novella. And I'm like, I want Alyssa Cole to write a full-length, you know, gay as fuck novel. And she delivered, because How to Find the Princess, which is the second book in the Runaway Royal series, in How to Find the Princess, like I said, is an Anastasia retelling. You have Makeda, whose grandmother had this summer fling with this runaway prince from Ibrania, whatever, and she's like, okay, grandma, we get it. You had a summer fling with some Ibranian prince, whatever. She is going about her life, except for the fact that, you know, everything just came to a head. She lost her job, she lost her girlfriend, she's miserable, and then in comes in Bezrania, Bez for short, who is this investigator who is tasked with finding the last remaining heir to the Ibranian kingdom. And she's like, yo, Makeda, you're a princess. Makeda is like, fuck you, no, I am not going to be a princess. Yes, you're hot as fuck, but I have no interest in being a princess, right? But when like grandmother falls ill and things happen, Makeda is like, okay, fine, for grandma I'm going to do this. And then they go on this journey to Ibrania. They have this fake marriage, all the hijinks, they are falling in love, and it is up to Makeda to realize that, yo, something she has to do, not just out of duty, but because she wants to. I repeat, it's a queer Anastasia retelling. Anastasia was one of my favorite cartoons growing up. Hearts don't fail me now, courage don't desert me, don't turn back now that we're here. People always... Okay, fine, I'm just going to stop singing because I love Anastasia. Love, family, there was one the time when must have happened too. Okay, stop singing, Nora, stop singing. Next is a book that is technically a sequel. A Storm of Psalms and Silence by Roseanne Brown. Once that cover, 2021 is the year that keeps on giving, because that cover is perfection. But I'm not going to talk about this book because this book made it into this list as a bonus because I have not yet read A Song of Wrath and Ruin. Yeah. I'm waiting to buy the book first. So I've not yet read it, but I have heard great things. And the people that have told me these great things about it are people that I trust their opinions. So I'm putting in a psalm of storms and silence because I know I'm going to love the first book in the series. And yeah, I feel it in my left tit, right? It's the same way I felt it in my left tit that I was going to love Take a Hint, Danny Brown, even before I had read, Get a Life, Chloe Brown, because of like opinions of people that I trusted who love the book. And look at it, I love the Brown sister series. So yeah, a psalm of storms and silence. I have no idea, I cannot tell you about the synopsis of that book, but that cover, and based off of what I've heard of the book one, I am ready for it. So yeah. Next on my list is One of the Good Ones by Maika Maritza Mulite. This is marketed as being a cross between The Hate You Give and Get Out, which you all know how much I enjoyed The Hate You Give. I loved it. It was one of my favorite books when it came out that year, and I love Get Out. So I'm just over here like, I'm ready for it, right? Because we follow Happy, whose family is devastated when they hear the news that her sister Kenzie, who is a social activist and a history buff, was killed at a rally, right after a rally. And the way in which her sister was idealized after the fact about being perfect, this perfect teen, this angelic teen, one of the good ones, had her wondering like, isn't being human enough? What defines goodness? Does your inherent goodness and perfection, the way in which society sees you, does that determine your worth after you're dead, especially when you're killed in such a circumstance? And so she and her sister, her younger sister Jenny, set out to honor Kenzie in their own way, only to discover that they actually do not know the full truth about exactly the circumstances under which she died. I'm over here, I'm guessing that this is where the Get Out part, because the first part sounds kind of like, the Hate You Give part, but the mystery at the end is giving me Get Out vibes. And I know that this book is going to wreck me. I know it's going to be a hard book to read, but I cannot wait to read it, because I think what hooked me and what engaged me was that crucial question: is being human not enough? And because I already mentioned Angie Thomas previously, the next book I'm looking forward to reading in 2021 is Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas. This takes place 17 years before The Hate You Give, so we are following Maverick's story. And 17 years ago, he was slinging dope, working the streets, so that he could raise enough money to take care of his mother, who is already working 2 jobs while his father is in prison. He has a girlfriend, he has a dope-ass cousin. Life is good for him until his girlfriend hits him with the news. Boom, boom, boom. Mav, you're going to be a father. He has a son, 7, and he's like, holy shit. I cannot do all of this. I cannot walk the streets. I cannot sling dope. I cannot go to school. I cannot raise a kid. I cannot do all of this at the same time. So when he gets the opportunity to go straight and, live the life of crime, he takes it. But when you're a king lord, it's not easy to walk away. And when a loved one is brutally murdered, Mav has to define exactly what it all means to him, and also define what kind of man he hopes to be, he wants to be. And I'm just, I was intrigued by Mav when we were reading The Hate You Give, right? When Star was telling us her story and we saw him through Star's eyes, I've always been intrigued by his story, and now we get the chance to explore his story. So it's a prequel of a sort to The Hate You Give, and I'm ready to read it. The next book I am actually really interested in reading is The Girls Have Been by Tess Sharp. The entire concept of this, right? I'm just like, the girls you've been? Please tell me more. And in this we follow Nora, who grew up as the daughter of a con artist. And by being a daughter of a con artist, she's basically a protege of her mother, who has done several identities to con many a mark. But when it is that her mother falls in love with a mark instead of, conning him, she gets out. And by she, I mean Nora. Nora leaves. She starts a life for herself. She has a girlfriend who she ends up breaking up with, and then eventually she gets a new girlfriend who happens to be friends. Like, her ex-girlfriend and her new girlfriend are all friends, but see, her ex-girlfriend does not know about her new girlfriend because, I repeat, they were all friends. But when it is that her ex-girlfriend walks in on her with her present girlfriend, and the next morning, all 3 of them have to go to the bank to deposit money that they raised through a fundraiser, and whilst they are there, and she's still dealing with all the relationship drama because she's like, fuck my life. bank robbers come in and hold all of them hostage, and she's like, so, yeah, while she's still reeling with all of that, she's like, you know what, fuck this shit. These guys might be dangerous, but they do not know all the girls have been, nor do they know exactly who they're holding hostage. I love bank heist. I love bank heist movies. I love bank heist books. This is bank heist mixed with corn artists, mixed with a lot of gay.
Perfection.
Next for me is Lore by Alexandra Bracken. One that cover. Oh my god, I repeat. 2021 covers. They are just hitting it out of the park, are they not? Like, I mean, look at that cover. Anyway, in Lore combines something I really, really love and absolutely adore, and that is Greek mythology, right? Greek mythology and a retelling of Greek mythology. Because see, in Lore, every 7 years, right, a set of original gods walk the earth as punishment for a rebellion that they held ages ago. And the whole point is that whoever, like, descendants of ancient bloodlines will hunt these gods, right? And whoever is able to successfully kill a god is able to take the mortality of said god for themselves. Lore escapes this process called the Agon. She escapes it when her family is brutally murdered by a rival family, who then ascends to godhood, and she's like, fuck it, I'm done with it. But a new, like, it's been 7 years, I've come again, and the Argon is about to start, and she's reached out to by Castor, a childhood friend who she thought was long dead, and Athena, who is one of the original gods and wounded, and the whole point is to pair up with Athena in order to bring down the god, the person, the man, now a god, who killed her family. But even with all of that, there's definitely a lot of things going on underneath, and also she's not sure she might have the power because there's a new god on the rise who has the power to bring humanity to his knees. I'm just like, one, that cover, I love Medusa, I love Greek mythology. That cover, I cannot wait, and yeah, it's gonna be so good!
My body is ready.
Next for me is Into the Heartless Woods by Joanne Ruth Meyer. I am intrigued by this because basically it follows your tenet of there's a witch living in the woods. But see, the witch living in the woods has siren powers, and for centuries she's lured in men and women into the forest to use their souls to feed the heartless tree, which ends up giving her more power and extends the power in her domain. But everything changes one night when Owen is lured into the woods, but rather than kill him, one of her siren daughters instead saves his life and lets him go. And so he comes back every night to see her, and of course is falling in love with her, and she is also falling in love with him, and she wants to turn human, but their love is going to be some star-crossed shit because see, her mother hates humans, right? And the king of the land also hates the witch, and it's just, they are going to be caught in the crosshairs of that battle, and I'm just ready for it. Also, it's definitely going to be an atmospheric read. I hope sincerely that it comes out before October so that I can save that book and read it in October. But yeah, Into the Heartless Woods. Next for me is Cast in Firelight by Dana Swift. That cover, I repeat, 2021 is the year that keeps on giving. Especially for if you're like me and you're a book hoe. Yeah, because I'm a slut for a great cover, and that cover, I'm gonna spread my legs for this cover, I'm just saying. Anyway, that was very inappropriate, apologies. But anyway, in this we follow rival wizards, right? You have Adra, who is the princess witch of her kingdom, and you have Jectin, who is the sorcerer prince of his kingdom, and there's an arranged marriage between both of them. But see, their kingdom have been rivals for so long, and they are just like, this arranged marriage is never going to work. But when it is that someone seems to be coming for control to like take over both their kingdoms, they both go undercover with secret identities and then meet whilst lying to each other about their identities to team up in order to take down the evil. And I'm just over here like, this is enemies to allies to lovers with a toss-in of secret identities. It's my jam, it's my flavor. I'm going to spread it over a nice thick loaf of bread and gobble it all up. Gobble it all up, yeah, because I am ready. The entire concept of this book! The concept of this book! Damn! Next up for me is Jade, Fire, Gold by Junsiel Tan. This does not have a cover yet, but oh my god, the premise. See, you have a girl who has the powers to steal souls, and she wants to save her grandmother, right? And for her to do so, she has to team up with this exiled prince who wants to take control of the dragon throne. And I'm just like, there's going to be secrets, there's going to be power, there's going to be sorcery, there's going to be dark sorcery, because the root of her power is dark, and I'm here for it. It's also apparently it's also perfect for fans of Avatar: The Last Airbender, which I finally for the first time in my life got to watch this year, thanks to my amazing friends, and Jerry, Tati, Sherry, and Brittany. I love you all. But yeah, I finally got to watch Avatar this year. I loved it. And they said it's perfect for fans of Avatar: The Last Airbender, so I am ready for it. Oh my god. Oh, and this cover, you know, like when you know that a cover is going to be good, like I just have a feeling that this cover is going to be good.
Oh, his dick is big. I know it. I know it's big. I mean, oh god, my heart hurts.
Next up for me is Ace of Spades. I am... Whoo, this book. Now see, you all know I love me private school drama series. Yeah. I love me stuff like that, and you add the fact that it also has a thriller element, because there is somebody called Aces in this Nivea's private school who holds the secrets of the students and is about to let it go, especially the secrets of the top 2 students. There's Devon, who is a talented musician who is always buried in rehearsals and basically has learned to ignore a lot of things until his private photos go public. And then there's Chiamaka, who is one of the most powerful students in school, and now Ace is threatening to let the old school know exactly what she has done to get that power. And I'm just over here like, yo, this is going to be like Pretty Little Liars, but immensely better. Like, already I'm certain that there's not going to be any student-teacher relationship, so already that gives it a class 1A+ perfection moment for me. So yeah, thank you, Compop. Like, play with them, play with that. You're a great hunter, hunt it. That's already giving me all the vibes I need, and I'm excited. Ace of Spades. Ah, Lord. Also, that cover is just beautiful, and I love it. Next is The Taking of Jake Livingston by Ryan Douglas. I got onto this book thanks to my very good friend B over Be With Shelves. They are amazing, and when I saw them talking about this book on their Twitter, I was like, oh my god, let me go check out the synopsis. And Ryan Douglas delivered, because see, in this book we follow Jake Livingston, who is one of the only 2 black kids at his elite prep school, the other black kid being his older brother, who is infinitely more popular. Jake is not. Jake is just trying to get through high school. What makes matters worse for him is the fact that he can also see ghosts, right? And usually the ghosts are just, okay, caught in a loop, etc., etc., until he meets Sawyer, who is the ghost of a boy who had committed a school shooting sometime in the past, and has since then become a vengeful ghost who seems to be hunting and stalking Jake, because I am guessing he wants to take Jake's body for his own. Can you all tell that this book was marketed similar to Get Out? Because it's horror, it's a hunting, it's a taking of Jake Livingston, and apparently it's also very gay from a gay author. And I'm just like, it's horror, it's very gay, there's a hunting. I am definitely intrigued. Also, that cover is gorgeous. Jake looks fucking terrified, as he should be, because he's being hunted by a ghost that seemingly wants to take his body. But it's also a very, very gorgeous cover. Next for me is another romance, The Heart Principle by Ellen Huang. You all know I read The Kiss Quotient. I loved it. I read The Bride Test. I enjoyed it. Like, I did not love it as much as The Kiss Quotient, but I did like really, really enjoy it. And now we have The Heart Principle, and it's Kwan's story. Kwan, who everybody had always thought as this underachiever, but now that he has a retail business that is on the up and up, you know, definitely the money is flowing in. He's suddenly a catch, and all the girls that used to ignore him suddenly come flocking back, including his ex-girlfriend, who had brushed him off. But see, the problem is that his ex-girlfriend is newly engaged, but all she's thinking about is the money. And so her sister Anna decides that she's going to seduce Kwan in order to get him away from her sister and the real estate deal that would totally fall through if her sister decides to dump her engagement to be with Kwan. Thing about it is that Anna seemingly claims to not like Juan, but she's actually had a secret crush on him for years. It's just that he loved her more charismatic sister because she is more in the shadows. She has OCD, etc., etc. But what happens when Juan finds the truth? How would they navigate this? I am ready because I repeat, I love the Kiss Quotient. I really enjoyed Fright Test, and I have been waiting for this. This book was meant to come out this year in 2020, but it was moved by a year, and now I'm just like, it's like Ellen Huang knew what she was doing because this year has been the shit, has been the pit. So I am really excited and I cannot wait to read The Heart Principle. I repeat, it is Juan's story. I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. And finally, last but certainly not the least, Some Girls Do by Jennifer Dugan. Yes, once again, the cover. But also, this is just amazing because you have, this is gay. This is gay as fuck, right? You have an elite track star who is gay and out and proud about it, but when she finds out that her being gay is apparently against the conduct, yeah baby, being gay is apparently against the conduct of the private Catholic school that she was attending, she has to transfer schools. And Morgan is the name of the track star, falls in love with Ruby, closeted bisexual teenage pageant queen who has a liking for fixing up old cars. She fixes up old cars because that's a hobby. She participates in pageants because that's what her mother, her overbearing mother, wants her to do. And it's a case of they have this connection, but they want different things because Morgan does not want to stay in the closet or keep their relationship a secret, and Ruby is not ready to come out yet. So it sounds like it's going to be a heartwarming book that will just like squeeze my heart into tiny smithereens, and I'm ready. So, editing Noria here. I was editing and then I realized that apparently I mentioned 24 books, not 25. And I'm like, the fuck? How is it 24? I know I counted 25. Turns out that I forgot to mention All of Us Villains by Kristen Lee Herman and Amanda Foody. It's said to be like the Hunger Games, but rather than, you know, heroes as the villains, right? So there's a curse on the family, on the town, that the ancient family every 7 years, they would all bring out one person, one champion to represent them, and the winning family gets a sole custody of the supplies, the magical supply in the city, which is one of the most powerful in the world. And all this while, the lows have always won, but when it is that a salacious writer wrote a tell-it-all, tourists and interested parties all showed up to the town, which meant that the lows are grappling because the other families now have both people and interest in winning. And I'm just over here like, you had me at villains. Precious. But yeah, those are 25 books that I am very highly anticipating in 2021. Fingers crossed that they are all at the very least 4 stars. At the very least 4 stars. But that is the end of this video. Let me know what are some books you're really anticipating in 2021. Let me know if any of the books I mentioned today would make it on your list. Like if you did not know about these books and then I mentioned them and you're like, oh my god, Nora, I need to check that out. Let me know. Drop it in the comments as well. I'm so sorry this video is over long, but 25 books and I wanted to talk about all of them. So I'm certain this is probably going to be one of my least viewed videos because it's going to be so long. Oh my god. But that is the end of this video. If you liked it, as always, please do not forget to give a big thumbs up. Check out my other videos. Subscribe if you want to, and if you do decide to subscribe, please do not forget to click on that notification bell. So after you've clicked subscribe, click on that bell so you can have all notifications turned on so you don't miss any of my new videos, any of them. But I do make new videos every Wednesdays and Sundays at 2 p.m. EST. Yes, that is 2 p.m. EST, and I'll see you soon. Until then, stay passionate, love books, love yourself. Bye.